collective work and responsibility all Ujima is demonstrated in this story, Brother Rabbit and the Evil Lion, read by Roscoe Lee Brown.
It seems like you can't tell any kind of animal story without bringing up old Brer Rabbit sooner or later. You might wonder, why is that? Some of you might even say, man, I don't want to hear all that Brer Rabbit mess. It's country. Reminds me of slavery times and Uncle Tom. Well, if it's the name that bothers you, then just call him Brother Rabbit, or Bro Rabbit, or just the Rabbit. But as for Brer Rabbit himself, let me tell you, he was hip. That's right. He was a rogue, he was a hustler, and he was as slick as a patch of ice. If he wasn't pulling some kind of scam, then he'd be talking trash and starting trouble. And the funny thing is, no matter how big a mess he got into, Brer Rabbit always found a way to come out on top. That's why people tell stories about him to this day. Let's take, for example, the time this big, evil lion moved into Brother Rabbit's neighborhood. Now, when I say he was evil, I mean he had a bad attitude. He loved to pick a fight. He wouldn't work a lick. He did what he wanted, when he wanted, and he didn't give a sneeze what anybody thought of him. He was even worse than that. Anytime he got hungry, he'd just catch himself a pig or a goat or a goose and eat them up. Then he would pick his teeth with the bones. Oh, yeah, that lion was seriously bad. He was so bad that all the rest of the animals got together and held a meeting to decide what to do about him. They knew they had to do something, or else pretty soon there'd be nothing left of their neighborhood but a fat, evil lion and a pile of bones. Their bones. The first thing they agreed to was that it wouldn't do any good to ask the lion to leave. It might make him mad, and even if it didn't, he didn't seem the type to leave just because you asked him to. They also agreed that the lion had a right to eat, just like anybody else. The trick was how to keep him from eating them. After some more discussion, they figured the best thing to do was to offer the lion a deal. They'd make sure he was fed as long as he promised not to bother anybody. They all agreed that was an excellent idea, and the sooner Brother Lion got the news, the better. Then sly Brother Fox said, "Good. Now that that's settled, all we need to do is vote on who we want to carry the news to Brother Lion. Since Brother Bear is so big and strong, I nominate him." Brother Bear jumped to his feet and said, "Now wait a minute there, Brother Fox. I appreciate what you said about me being big and strong and all that. You know that I ain't afraid of no lion, but the truth is my wife's sick with the flu. I need to stay home and look after her." "Well, but you, Brother Fox," said Sister Squirrel, "you're so smooth, you could sell water to a fish. I know you wouldn't have any trouble explaining things to Brother Lion." "That's true," said Brother Fox, "and I wish I could. But unfortunately, I have urgent business out of town. But how about Brother Wolf?" But Brother Wolf had sprained his paw and couldn't walk far. Brother Pig was behind in his plowing. Brother Snake was getting fitted for a new skin, and so on and so on. Everybody tried nominating somebody else to break the news to Brother Lion, and everybody who was nominated came up with some kind of excuse for why he couldn't go. Everybody, that is, but Brother Rabbit. He got so fed up with all their hemming and hawing that he hopped up front and really let 'em have it. He said, "Y'all ain't fooling nobody. Talking about you got something else to do. Ha! You're scared, that's what you are. Well, let me tell you something. Maybe you don't have the guts to set that old lion straight, but I do." Now, of course, other animals didn't like hearing that. Sister Owl puffed up her feathers and said, "Oh, is that so? You know as well as I do that that lion is 10 times bigger than you are, with an appetite to match. If he takes a notion to have you for lunch, you wouldn't last any longer than a bite and a swallow. Are you saying that doesn't worry you?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," said Brother Rabbit. That lion may be bad, but I'm a bad rabbit. I don't back down from nobody. And if you don't believe me, you just wait here and see." And with that, Brother Rabbit turned and hopped straight for that lion's house like he owed him a ton of money. That is, until he was out of sight of the rest of the animals. Then he started sweating and trembling till he could hardly hop straight, because the truth was that all his talk was just that, talk. The truth was he wasn't just scared of that lion, he was terrified. Just the same, he kept hopping. Brother Rabbit would rather get eaten up than turn back and let all the rest of the animals laugh at him. Before he knew it, there he was, right at the lion's door. There was nothing for him to do but give it a knock. His first knock was so weak, the lion couldn't even hear it. Brother Rabbit knocked a little harder. The lion heard him that time. He bellowed out, "Who's at my door?" Brother Rabbit almost fainted right then and there, but he managed to catch his breath and said, all trembly like, "It's me, Brother Rabbit." "What do you want?" roared the lion. I was sent here by the rest of the animals. We had a meeting, you see, they decided that since you're the baddest animal in the forest and all, it just didn't seem right for you to have to tire yourself chasing down your food. So, "I don't have all day. Get to the point," screamed the lion. "Yes, sir," said Brother Rabbit. He was thinking fast by now. He said, "So what we had in mind was, as long as you would just stay at home and not walk around looking for folks to eat, we would send food each and every day right to your doorstep." The lion got real quiet. He narrowed his eyes, cocked his head to the side, and started licking his lips. And that's when Brother Rabbit started praying to himself, because he knew he was about to become a meal. Then the lion said, "All right, but I expect to get fed 3 times a day, and I better get fresh meat. You understand? I don't go for that vegetarian foolishness." "Yes, sir. Fresh meat," said Brother Rabbit. "And one more thing," said the lion. "If I miss just one meal, or if it's only 10 minutes late, then the deal is off, and I eat the first somebody I find. You got that?" "Plain and clear, Brother Lion, plain and clear." Then Brother Rabbit tore away from the lion's house like his tail was on fire. He was no fool, you see. He wasn't going to stand close to that lion's mouth a second longer than he had to. But he slowed down once he got close to where all the rest of the animals were waiting. And Brother Rabbit being Brother Rabbit, he had to put a strut in his step and a cocky little smile on his face. The first one to see him was Sister Mouse. She could hardly believe her eyes. She said, "Look, it's Brother Rabbit. He's back in one piece." As soon as they saw him, all the animals ran up and started begging him to tell them what happened. None of them could believe he had gone to the lion's house and come back alive. "Was the lion home?" said one. "Did you see him?" said another one. "Of course I saw him," said Brother Rabbit. "That's what I set out to do, wasn't it? When I set out to do something, you'd better believe is going to get done." Then he went on to tell the animals about how he just walked right into the lion's house, sat right down in the lion's easy chair, and told him how things were going to have to be from now on. "How'd he take it?" said Sister Robin. "Well, at first he started cussing and roaring," said Brother Rabbit. "But when he saw I wasn't going to back down, he just kind of mumbled and grumbled. That's how it is with bullies, you see. Besides, he knew if he messed with me, he was going to have to deal with all the rest of you, too. And all of us together would beat him like a cheap rug. Ain't that right?" "That's right, Brother Rabbit," said the animals. Then they all raised a cheer and started slapping Brother Rabbit on the back and shaking his hand and agreeing that he was definitely the bravest, most courageous rabbit they had ever seen. Brother Rabbit grinned and tried to act all humble, but anybody could see he was loving every minute of it. After a while, he cleared his throat and said in a loud, clear voice, "Now then, brothers and sisters, Who wants to be the first to feed our good brother, the lion? Well, you could have heard a feather land on a pile of cotton. Nobody said a word. Nobody wanted to go anywhere near that lion, but it was clear that somebody was going to have to do it. The question was, who? Just as before, everybody had some kind of pitiful excuse why they couldn't go. Just as before, Brother Rabbit stepped up and put a stop to it. He said, "If you all keep on arguing like this, that lion is going to miss his meal, and if he does, the deal is off. So here's what we're going to do. Every time Brother Lion needs to be fed, we'll each draw straws. Whoever gets the shortest straw will have to take Brother Lion his meal. Now that's fair, ain't it?" Everybody agreed that sounded fair, so that's exactly what they did. Brother Rabbit held the straws. The first time they drew, Brother Rooster got the short straw. Man, you should have heard him crow. He was crowing, "No, no, I don't want to go." But Brother Rabbit said, "We don't give a peck if you want to go or not. You drew the short straw, so you best take the lion his meal like you're supposed to." So poor Brother Rooster went down to the lion's house, and sure enough, no sooner did he knock on the door than the lion snatched him inside and ate him for lunch. The next time they drew, Brother Hog got the short straw. It was pitiful. Nobody's ever heard a hog squeal like that before or since. He was squealing, "Why me? Why me?" And Brother Rabbit showed him no mercy. He said, "Why you? Because it's your turn, that's why, you low-down coward. Now do you want to go walking, or do you want us to have to drag you there and leave you on his doorstep?" So poor Brother Hog went walking, and just like what happened to Brother Rooster, the minute he showed up on the lion's doorstep, the lion ate Brother Hog for dinner. Well, Brother Rabbit was pretty slick, but Brother Fox and Sister Owl were no fools either. They could see that as long as Brother Rabbit was holding the straws, every animal in the neighborhood would be sent to feed the lion except him. That's why they made sure that the next time the straws were pulled, it was Brother Fox who did the holding. And do you know who pulled the shortest straw? That's right, Brother Rabbit. But Brother Rabbit was cool. He didn't cry or moan. He just said his goodbyes to all his animal friends. He asked forgiveness from anybody he'd ever wronged in life, and he asked them to try to think well of him after he was gone. I tell you, by the time Brother Rabbit got through with all his apologies and goodbyes, every animal in the forest was weeping and sobbing. They were falling all over each other, telling him how much they were going to miss him when he was gone. Then as he slowly hopped away, Sister Hound started bellowing some old-time gospel, wishing her old friend Brother Rabbit a safe trip to the promised land. Yes, Brother Rabbit truly believed his time had come. As he hopped to the lion's house, he cherished every breath he took, and he looked at every tree and every cloud in the sky like he was looking at it for the last time. It wasn't long before he passed a well and decided to take one last drink of water. As soon as he slid off the cover and leaned over, bang, just like that, he got an idea. The more he thought about it, the better he liked it, until by the time he got to the lion's door, he knew exactly what he was going to do. He made a little tap at the door and said in a trembly voice, "Time for breakfast, Brother Lion." The lion threw open the door, took one look at him, and said, You're hardly enough for a snack." Brother Rabbit said, "That's true, Brother Lion, but I know where you can find plenty of fresh meat. I would have brought it to you, but I was too small to carry it." "Where is it?" roared the lion. "It's close. Not even 5 minutes away from here," said Brother Rabbit. "If you follow me, I'll lead you right to it." "If it ain't enough, you know what's going to happen to you, don't you?" said the lion. Brother Rabbit nodded and took off running for the well with the lion hot on his trail. As soon as they got there, Brother Rabbit tossed off the cover, looked inside, and said, "Oh, I hate to tell you, Brother Lion, but somebody else got to your food first. Brother Lion was real hungry by now, so he wasn't going to stand for somebody eating what was rightfully his. He knocked Brother Rabbit aside and looked down in that well. Staring right back up at him was his face, reflected in the water. The thing is, Brother Lion had never seen his own reflection before, so he thought it was another lion. That made him even more mad. He hollered, "Who are you?" His reflection hollered back, "Who are you?" The well had an echo, you see. So Brother Lion shouted again. He said, "I asked you first." His reflection shouted back, "I asked you first." That's when Brother Rabbit started to instigate. He clucked his tongue and shook his head and said, "You see that, Brother Lion? That no-good, low-down thief not only stole your food, he's even got the gall to stare back and mock you. I can't believe a fierce lion like you is going to stand for that. I feel like slapping him my own self." The lion was in a fury by now. He stuck his head in the well and roared as loud as he could. No sooner did he stop than his reflection roared back at him. That did it. Snap, just like that. Brother Lion leaped into the well, jaws open, claws out, and ready to fight. But the minute he hit the water, that was the end of bad Brother Lion, because he couldn't get out and he couldn't swim. Brother Rabbit chuckled for a minute. Then he puffed out his chest, hitched up his pants, and headed back to the forest, grinning from ear to ear. When the animals saw him coming down the road, they stared at him like they were looking at a ghost. They ran up and started throwing questions at him like, "How'd you get away? Why did he eat you? And is he coming this way?" Brother Rabbit laughed and said they wouldn't have to worry about Brother Lion ever again. Then he told them what happened, except when he told it, he claimed he had gotten so fed up with Brother Lion's bullying ways that he whipped him from one end of the forest to the other. Then, when he got tired, he threw the lion's flea-bitten carcass down a well. As I said before, Brother Rabbit didn't mind lying if it sounded better than the truth. But he truly had gotten rid of that evil old lion, and the animals were so grateful, they voted then and there that Brother Rabbit would get fed 3 square meals a day and would never have to work another day in his life. If you think about it, Brother Rabbit became the first politician. He promised a lot more than he could deliver, and he didn't mind sacrificing other folks to save his own hide. But he did manage to do some good from time to time, so I guess that made it worth keeping him.